All right, greetings. Okay, we're a little bit earlier than usual. Kind of. Yeah, the cats are in the background. They might tear down the background. I'm not sure what's going on with them. Kind of lost their minds. Currently, so the UFO report is not going to be your normal UFO report. Basically, connects to the energies of it and what being needs to come through for that report. It's probably going to be more of the same. Just to let you know, it's not going to be like the ships are going to land on the White House or anything like that. Or the day the Earth stood still. Of course, you never know. Yeah, you never know. And vampire energies. So who inspired that was the Rolling Stones. I can actually show. I forgot to. I'll show something here, but was it Mick Jagger, like 80 years old? It looks like he's 80 by age, but I don't know. He feels like a 60s energy because he's vampiring everybody that's around him. So I wonder how some people live forever. It's not everybody that lives forever, but some that live forever, especially if they're in pretty decent health. A lot of times, I work for a vampire. Yeah, so I know firsthand. Yeah, they come in, they suck you dry. They're doing fine. They're running around. They're having fun. But you're like walking around like a zombie. So, yeah, it's not fun. You know what I mean? Oh, it's Fritzy. Oh, I don't know what she's up to. No, you can't come over here. What? What are you looking for? Oh, jeez. She's investigating. I've been running around here, tossing everything around. It's a jungle back here, but I think they can manage. Yeah, so people, the Rolling Stones is a good example of vampirism. Family members, relationships. Obviously, they don't. I guess Mick Jagger is kind of looking like a vampire at this time. Yeah, just is like being a vampire. Can you be like a good vampire? I guess. They're still there to suck everybody's energy out. So we connect to the vampire frequency. Yeah, they always talk about sucking blood and all that, but what about just suck your energy out? What just suck your soul out of you? Like suck the life out of you. I mean, that's just as bad as the whole blood thing. It's worse. So, yeah, they're both bad. But anyway, you don't see many people biting necks. Well, they do, but yeah, energy vampire, and our reality is worse. Yeah, I can go anyway. You can go on with that one, but and also the Andromedans, the feline frequencies, is basically. Yeah, my cats think they're Tarzan. Of course, they're quiet now. They weren't a couple of minutes ago. They're losing their minds. So they're moving furniture around too. Yeah, they gotten talented. Let's see, Jagger. Jeez. Well, okay. All right. We taught a comic private sessions. We have a scheduler. We have the shop here. We have the webinar. I think tomorrow, social network, behind the scenes. And what else we got here? Oh, yeah, Mick Jagger. Jeez. There was something on him recently. Yeah, it's like his girlfriend's like 20 or something. No, she's not that young, but but yeah, he's like a a corpse, basically. And vampires, yeah, aren't they what they call the immortals? So in our reality, they can only live so long. Now, do we have any like immortals here physically? We could, who knows? But he's definitely showing his immortality. I think he's showing us that he's lived a long life from previous lifetimes, also for him to live to that age and be of a decent health overall. So there's something going on there. It's like on the stage, he's like a rock and roller, but at home because his wife is young too. So it's like he can vampire her energies and her not even probably ever notice it. Yeah, so sometimes the younger the better. That's not always the case, but in this case, that's the case. Yeah, corpse and I don't know. No, he's not 72. He's 80 now. 79, I think. 80. Something. He's close enough to 80 at this point. I think he's married. Not it doesn't really matter, but yeah, just the life of a vampire. I don't know. You can say that's good or bad or whatever. However you want to look at it. Ups, downs, all around. Who knows? Either way, it's there. So, okay, yeah, they're quiet down for the cats. Camera turns on, they all go quiet. Well, Fritzy was in here for a little bit, but anyway. Okay, all right, we get to UFO report. Vampire frequencies in Andromeda. So Andromeda energy is basically light in the frequencies. Maybe talk about our human experiences here to a certain level. So, all right, blessings. There you go. Greetings. We are the Zeta consciousness. Yes, many of you are hybrid beings, of course. Of course, humans aren't fully aware of their hybridization to keep humanity alive, you can say. Of course, there's Akashic knowledge here. There's knowledge of the astral realms. A lot of that's been closed off. So basically, you can be 10, 20 years in the future currently. So there's the humans here. Some are slow learners. Not everyone is, but some take their time in their soul development. So the world kind of slows down, practically stops for certain souls to get out of what rut they're in. Because you're all basically a group consciousness. So to know who those are that are very slow in their development, you can see it in your family line. You can, usually they're still here. So, I mean, even you can also have ghost beings that are holding back, that are in the ghost realms, kind of holding your family back. You don't hear about that very often. As for the UFO reports, of course, a lot of the alien beings are careful of how they connect with humans due to the interaction, due to the heaviness of our interaction with yours. As more humans are becoming more educated that we exist and open to the idea of it, over time, it will become easier for alien and human contact. Basically, you can say it comes part of your culture. You see currently humans looking at paranormal energies all the time and ghost beings. Eventually, some do alien energies, but eventually aliens will be taken more seriously. Not many do. They don't quite understand how to make contact yet. Also, there'll be technologies we can actually see the alien beings in other not other dimensions, but in some form. But you see basically our energy fields. It's not like you can do anything about it, but you can kind of see our energy signatures when we're around. There is technologies around that currently, but they're not all that public from what we know. But the human condition basically is to, say, heal diseases for your longevity. Of course, disease is created by just the chaotic energies of your reality. Not all of you, but there's some that just have to deal with, yes, even your government, of course, has its own version of this disease. It's funny how they write off of it. They write it off and say, "Oh, the pandemic is over." When in truth, there are other pandemics going on within society that have a different type of mind control pandemics that's going on. You say, yes, your governments are afraid of your people to a certain level. Well, because there is a sense of craziness some people can't get out of their minds. But some of you are connected to crazy realities, realities that are very higher dimensional, very bizarre. And you're, of course, trying to humanize it to the best of your ability, but some just can't do it. You're always going to be kind of odd for this universe. Well, some of you have had 3 arms, 4 arms, 3 eyes, 6 eyes. When you have like all these different type of forms, where you're humanoid, but you truly look like an alien being, even alien beings that you don't really see here as your average connection. When you're already kind of odd compared to everyone else, you're going to see things differently. So if you have humans, decipher their alien connections, some will, yes, look very bizarre. There's even a lot of alien groups don't even want a name. They feel like they're just too out there for one. Now you might call them something. Every alien race can call whoever you want to give them a name, but a lot of alien groups don't name themselves at all. They just know that they're hot stuff. Yes, and very odd for the most part. They enjoy it to a certain level, but you have to be yourself. Yeah, like kind of like it's like what you would see on your Rick and Morty. Like a yellowish type of being with 4 arms and just 5 eyes, whatever it might be, and just wandering around, doesn't know what it wants to do, just wandering. Usually those are called astral beings, but they can show up in the 4th dimension, which is still an astral realm, but also they can form in your physical reality. Just it's a little bit much for humans to see things like that. But for your alien report, the government doesn't want to go into the details for obvious reasons, but they are, it's scattered. It's just, they're going to keep, all the departments aren't talking to each other about what's really going on. It's all fragmented for obvious reasons, of course, worldwide. Russia has a little bit more understanding of your galactic connections. They don't go through what the U.S. goes through, just kind of department everything, just this, like I said, the scatteredness of it. Russia's a little bit more fine-tuned. They don't make things public, but they have a better idea. Well, at least they have a better idea than the U.S. At least the U.S. knows, but they just keep it all quiet. So, thanks. Grace you. Yes, we have the vampire consciousness. So vampire people, well, some, those that vampire others, usually they're enjoying some aspect of their life and they want to live it to its fullest. So it's like, how does grass stay green? It can just vampire the energies of the people that are on the grass. But in a human sense, just some want to, like the roller coaster of life, they want to hold on as long as they can. So they vampire their energies of other people for longevity. You see that within your queen. She might have been like in her 80s or 90s, but she looked like she was in her 60s. Or even 50, around her 60s at least. So vampirism isn't quite part of your zeitgeist, your conversations. Your universities aren't speaking about. Of course, your universities are the vampire frequencies. And yes, maybe your teachers on this planet are vampire beings. And doesn't mean that they disappear, but sometimes their mirror image don't always. Maybe it might be distorted when you see them in the mirror with their reflection, because they do hide who they are. And usually they, yes, like a Dracula, uh, appear, decent, attractive, and yes, the perfect vampire has to put on a good show. So it's just your human Earth has a different way of what it just. It's not always broadcast of how a vampire operates in your dimension. Other dimensions, yes, they bite people. A person turns into a vampire. It's a blood fest. In your reality, it's more like an energy fest. And yes, you have an elderly, not all elderly persons. People are like this, but some are where, yes, they're very, yes, in their 80s or even 90s, and everyone around them is depleted. Even some children might not last that long because their energy has been sucked out of them. So eventually society will understand that, but your world, as you know, does not recognize energy that well. It ignores it. But you're here to make that more known eventually, how energy works here. As many of you, some of you are energy experts, you don't even realize it. You understand the astral realms, understand the vibrations around you, chakra systems, and all that. And you have no idea. You can probably get a PhD in it. And probably just write a paper on it. You just know. Of course, your society is not recognized for obvious reasons, because you become more aware of how this world works. And you can say, if you understand the energies of how everything works, it's kind of game over for the society, but not just yet. The world's not ready to just shut down just like that. Yes, world peace, human peace, soul peace, facing for this. So why do souls get so easily distracted? Because a lot of their energies are fragmented here, injured through violence, even in the astral forced incarnations to a certain level. Just a lot of energy attacks, energy wars, and other dimensions. Basically, yes, it's kind of like in some cases, some of you get attacked before you even incarnate. And some of you might remember that. Of course, they keep it hidden, but you can go through a great deal just to get here. And some of you might remember that, especially if you're listening to traumas of their secret space programs and all that. For this world to find peace, that reality needs to calm down. So, but as a vampire frequency, many of us are connected to our energies, of course. But yeah, it's one thing about biting a neck than sucking someone's life out. Of course, biting a neck's kind of the same thing. It's just quicker. Yeah, in your world, a vampire works slower. And other vampire realities, you just bite the neck and you have a sensation. You added 100 years to your life, and that's that. Here is like your victims lose power and maybe not even exist anymore, as some of you have seen. Grace you, we are the felines. Blessings. As you can see, some feline beings don't know how to stop playing. Of course, that's good. But yes, feline energies are usually known to be playful beings in the higher dimensions, the fourth dimensions. Yes, it doesn't mean that they play with like a giant ball of yarn. Some do, but yeah, they can get very entertained very easily. And yes, and you have reptilian group. Well, it's like the feline beings connect to a certain frequency of high. The canines do it also. You connect to a high vibration and it attracts like something like a reptilian energy. So like a reptilian beings, like you've heard of reptilian take over a planet. Well, it also is for a reptilian being to replenish its frequency. to survive. So it also connects to a hybrid program. Now, yes, you're going to hear different stories about reptilians and felines and canine beings and so on, but there is agreements astrally for felines and reptilian beings to combine. Now, not all felines are aware of it. At least they might. It's like, oh yeah, I might have heard about that, and all of a sudden their world gets invaded. Oh, that's right. We should have paid more attention to that. Well, it's like eat or be eaten, or just protect yourself, or you'll get consumed by these other beings. So, and reptilian beings don't necessarily. Every soul is looking for something new, something different. Doesn't mean you have to absorb an energy being. You have to take over a feline race, but some feel like it's necessary for their growth. So it's like you add another even million years to evolution or longer by connecting to hybridize, becoming a hybrid being. Yes, there might be some negativity that comes out of it, but it's also longevity and soul growth. Because some of the feline beings in the higher dimensions are so naive, and they just got a huge education. And yeah, some might be bitter about the reptilian attacks that they go through, but eventually they'll get over it. Doesn't mean you have to like reptilian beings, because reptilian beings have their own reasons. It's like when you see like a crocodile or anything like that, sitting in the water. It's going to go after somebody. It's like it sees vulnerability, it goes after it. You see that here also on your planet from many different levels, even the lower dimensional beings. The lower dimensional beings, they just see our world as food. And so humanity is no longer food, meaning humanity changes your energy field and no longer part of the manipulations. That some of you are getting there. Rest of society, I wouldn't say enjoys it, but it's part of their evolution. That's why the longevity here is so short, meaning you're only here for a certain time because your contracts with the earth for now. It's as long as the souls agree to this current contract where you go to 80 years existence. It can be extended. It can be 200 years and look like you're 40, but your world hasn't quite got there yet. Doesn't mean the contract expires just yet. When you see more longevity, beings living to 100 and they look decent, that shows you're coming out of the old age. Eventually, some humans will live to 300 years old when it's needed. Now, some very few have found a way to do that, but even there, it's not pretty. So, but this is what you're warning to. Well, longevity, but also with purpose. You want to live forever without no purpose, just to live long. Now, some, yes, would just like their purpose is just how long can they last here, and that's their purpose. Because also they teach others how to be healthy, and have for others to look upon them. So it's just that higher dimensional beings, just because we're in the fourth dimension. But we don't go through all the challenges your world goes through. So, of course, we live to 400 or 500 years without a problem because we don't have all the difficulties here. So you're learning how to heal those difficulties here if you even want to live a long life, if your society wants it. Many don't want it for obvious reasons, but more are finding more reasons to live longer. But what's the purpose of it? Of course, you don't necessarily have to have a purpose, but it does help. Like, what are you going to do? As long as you have something to do with yourself. Once again, there would be few that would live a long life just for the sake of doing it. So just a lot of pieces of your reality that you're figuring out. So longevity is up to you, but some of you have more than enough life to accomplish what you need to accomplish. And the universe is only going to give you so much. So it gave you this amount of time. You still didn't figure it out. You can always come back again. There's no like wrong way of doing things. It's a soul growth. It's soul direction. Yes, many souls come here to find something. to accomplish something. And how do you get there is you just keep pushing away. You just keep moving. Yes, being curious, experiencing. You will find when you find it, you will know it.